Sunday, wind variable less than 10 knots, becoming west 10 knots in the afternoon. Swell west 6 to 8 feet.
Awesome. Great to see you.
You too. What's up?
Well, did you hear, like right when you got on, I've been listening to my Mount Soledad radio broadcast.
I saw that.
Yeah, did you hear it? It was like 7 to 8 foot predicted on Sunday morning.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, wow, way to pick it.
I know. Well, yeah. We've actually moved the location twice since the forecast was first for a heavy south wind. And we were like, all right, let's move it to the shores. I talked to Josh Hall and he's like, yeah, let's do it. And then I talked to Scobie Joe and he's like, we're gonna get good wind. And then I sent a message to Lauren Canavan yesterday and she's like, I was like, yeah, we moved it to the shores because of the wind. And she's like, actually, the forecast just switched, like literally just switched to like 5 knots northeast. It's gonna be great. So we're moving it back to Tourmaline.
Native soil. That'll be great. Oh, what an event. I'm so excited.
That was the original plan.
True to form.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for getting on. I've been having a lot of fun going through and collaborating, talking with a bunch of the artists who've done work for the festival. And, just wanted to talk about your event and help people, represent your values through it. And, you've competed for a long time, long reigning champion surfer. And so, I know you've experienced and gone through it, and now you kind of it's like now you're running it. So you're like on that top. And how does that feel for you?
It's a good feeling doing what we're doing. So this time around, we're actually running the event as an expression session and not a contest. But last time, 2022, when we did the first invitational, it was run as a longboard contest and it was really cool. Pierce asked me if I wanted to do an invitational in conjunction with the surf festival. And sometimes, he caught me at a good time and I was like, yeah, let's do it. And what was really cool for me was that I was the one to choose the criteria and the format. And the surfers, of course. I mean, I think I have good taste in surfing. Some of the people I invited didn't respond to me. Some of the people I invited said no. Some said yes. I had a huge list. So luckily, there's a lot of really good surfers in San Diego.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of really good longboarders to choose from. So some people, like I said, but what I loved was that I got to choose the format last year or last time, which was 2 years ago. And my main thing was that like I wanted to have it mixed gender divisions. There was no division, but there were an equal number of guys and girls. And I have total faith that the women longboarders can surf just as good as the men, especially on a delicate mellow beach break like Loring Street. But even knowing that, I still anticipated a guy like stealing the show and winning the whole thing. So I offered an extra prize for the highest ranking female. So it was like the highest ranking, the overall winner got some, was the winner. And then the highest ranking female was going to get, recognized just for being the highest ranking female. And then if by chance the overall winner was a female, then she took all the prize money,
Gotcha.
And that actually happened. Summer Romero ended up winning the contest. She beat out all the guys. And another thing about the format, and I can simplify all this for you if you want, but the other thing with the format was that we only scored on one wave. So only your top wave in the heat counted for your score instead of having a 2-wave tally, because, I've surfed a lot of heats, a lot of contests, and I've seen the best surfer lose because they didn't, put together a heat. They didn't build a heat, and a lot of my favorite surfers don't compete. Some of the people I asked to surf in the invitational before were like, I don't do contests, but I'll do this for you. And I'm like, thank you.
Oh,
I just wanted to see everybody surf. So
well,
yeah, so
that's
that was the
cool.
format, was like all fun, and mostly the main criteria was to just have fun. And a lot of, it showed in the footage, and there was so much excitement on the beach. Like it was really fun. I was actually really nervous to run it because it's like, it's one of those things where to allow your name to be put on something and call it, what it is. Like, okay, the Jen Smith Aloha Invitational. I was like nervous to do that because it's kind of putting it out there. It's putting yourself out there to,
Yeah,
anything. Like, and I'm not a self promoter. I'm not the kind of person who really even talks about my surfing unless, I'm asked. So, yeah, and even then I don't always like to talk about it. It's just, it's what it is. So
sure. It's personal to you. I understand for
yeah,
that.
but it was really cool, like to have Pierce approach me. I was like I said, he caught me at a good time, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then I was nervous to do it, but it actually all came together in a really good way. Yeah.
Yeah, Sunday's going to be amazing. I mean, you've well represented, America's finest surfing, bringing together for this epic swell. I mean, I mean, we're in for the solar maximum, the changing of the sun cycle. And, it's been a big ride of storms. And, this is going to be a good one where we're going to get the native Santa Ana winds with like a long generated swell. And it's just going to
Yeah.
come together. And, you brought together all these riders. And, who knows who will be riding in the past. I was selling some paddle boards the other day, and somebody's like, well, which one would my dog like? It's like,
Yeah.
dog wanted to, or some other animal wanted to ride in the festival. It's like, huh.
Yeah. That's cool. That's great.
Well, awesome. Well, it's look forward to going through this. So what else do you have coming up this year for you and the shop?
For me personally, I'm just sort of focusing on the shop. I just moved back to Pacific Beach, which is cool. So I'm really focusing on simplifying my life. And now, like, I'm super blessed, and now I'm living in PB, working in PB,
Mm.
spending less time in the car. I did, yeah, I did do a one WSL contest last November. Even though I had vowed I wasn't going to compete last year, I found out there was a qualifier in November, so I did it in hopes to qualify for the World Tour again.
Uh-huh.
And it's interesting. I may or may not actually be pursuing that, but I figured, there was an event in California, might as well give it a shot. And I got fifth, and there's another qualifier in May on the East Coast, I think. It's tentative, but if that contest runs, I may or may not go surfing it. Which is funny because I'm like, I just don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah. Well,
But yeah,
what's your board selection telling you? Is it telling you to like ride longboards? I mean, I saw that video of you riding that Skip, and oh my God, what a glider.
that's a cool board. That's my dad's board that I borrowed. And I'm super guilty. I broke the fin box out of it a while ago, and I haven't gotten it fixed yet. So it's still in the shed, but my board selection I ride longboards when the waves are small and clean and I want to go ride the nose. Really when I'm inspired to go ride the nose and it's clean. But generally my board quiver is like fast and furious, like long fishes. I have a little mini fish, and my longboards, even them, they're not really like contest style boards anymore. Like my favorite longboards now are the Speed Demon, Dane Purley's boards. And what's rad about Dane's boards is that they have a lot of glider qualities. They're like all these qualities of all my favorite boards: a nose rider, a fish, and a glider. Those are basically how I describe those boards. It's all that stuff somehow blended into one, just absolute freak of a surfboard that works. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I love those. And then my long fishes from Josh Hall, that's what I've been riding the most lately, because it's been some juice, some swell in the water. And yeah, I've been riding those. But yeah, this year really just hanging around town. That's pretty much it. I'm sure something's gonna come up, but yeah. And I got some little side projects in the works that I don't want to talk about until they're in motion. But yeah, for the most part, just being present here and staying close to home, which feels really good.
Yeah, yeah, you get to skate, I would imagine, into work now and, minimum
Sometimes.
impact of, like you're saying, driving lower. I mean, car tires has a big runoff into the ocean. So if you can minimize the amount you're driving on tires, that's less plastics going out in the ocean and stuff.
That's true. Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
So you
Yeah,
can,
and just less time and less time commuting, it's like really good for me too.
well, good.
Yeah. Hanging out with my dad. I've been hanging out with my dad a lot. Yeah, he needs my help, so I take him down. I get him in the water when we can, when the waves are small and clean enough.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then today we just went down and checked the surf, did a little beach walk. It was nice. Today might have been a good day to get him out there, but time was not on our side, so we just checked it and checked the scene, talked to some friends.
Oh, that's fun. Anything special you're looking forward to it? Well, I mean, you got this big event, which I think is going to be a relief when it goes down, but I hope
Yeah.
that some
Well,
other events as well going on for the festival.
about the festival, yeah, I'm actually super stoked on the invitational this year because well, again, Pierce has good ideas. He said, "Oh, what if we make it a glider, a glider event?" And I was already in the position where, I don't really have the desire or the energy to run a contest right now because I haven't even been competing. I took last year off, and so for me, I'm really excited about this being just an expression session and just being straight up like just surfing, just having fun. And that the glider, that is a big part of like my quiver choices these days. So yeah, I'm stoked on just the aspect of not competing, but just getting everyone out there to just surf. And we're going to be at Tourmaline, like you said, on a really good swell with really good conditions. And these big boards, like they're designed to surf Termo and the Cove. So it's going to be really cool to have some of my favorite glider surfers riding those boards, on a pretty decent swell at, the prime location. So it's like hopefully the best board for the best conditions on the best day, and it just happens to be lining up. So Lord willing, the crowd out there will give us a break because we aren't running it with a permit, but we are running it. And we're just gonna go and have a good time.
Yeah, the surf contest is like a beach cleanup.
Yeah. That's a good one.
I
We'll
hear
call it
that.
a beach cleanup. That's a
Awesome.
good one. Yeah. Oh, you know what else? We're gonna do a barbecue tomorrow at the skate shop, a barbecue and skate jam after the contest
Oh,
or
okay.
after the expression session because I gotta work tomorrow. I gotta open the shop at 11. So that's another thing. I got a really good buddy. He's gonna come down and cook some burgers for us. So we're just gonna, eat burgers and skate around in front of the shop and hang out after the event.
Well, that's great. I'll stop by and ride those big orange wheels. But
Yeah, totally. That's really awesome. But yeah, I'm stoked on also the festival just to watch some films and yeah.
yeah, good group of people coming together, some nice nonprofits and be some good boards, good movies, some Hall of Famers and good times.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing too to add is like the aspect of this thing being sort of a tribute to Skip. You know,
Yeah.
he's the one who really started and really rolled with the glider. You know, in the 60s, they had finally tuned their rails, like the 50-50 rails and the 60-40, and they really finally tuned that stuff in. And then the shortboard revolution came and they went all downrail and crazy stuff. But the fact that, you know, Skip was the one, I mean, I grew up watching Skip walk from his shop to the end of the cul-de-sac to check the waves and back to his shop with his little trash picker and his bucket and his vest with his sweats and his high tops on. So it's like, it's really cool just to be able to, you know, it's really just a nod of the head, tip of the hat to him. And I mean, I've been watching that guy since I was a kid, since I can remember. Because my dad's shop, the original Soul Grind, was on Felspar Street, and Harry's Surf Shop was on the alley right there. You know, they shared a wall. But no, it's just cool. It's and not everyone's gonna be riding a Fry, but all the boards that people are riding and all the people that I chose, they ride gliders, which any glider is essentially like not a knockoff of a Skip, but it's everyone. And even Chris Christensen said this to me. He's like, that's what we all have been like trying to aspire to for all these years, is like the Skip Frye egg that he was making in the late 60s.
Uh-huh.
Like those are words out of Chris's mouth. Like I told him I had this egg from Skip, and he's like, oh my God. He's like, that's what we all have been aspiring to. And Skip was making those in the late 60s. Like these are timepieces that he was making. And now, and even I got an egg from Chris Christensen after we had that conversation, and I look at the outline and the beak on the board, and it's like, yeah, he copied for sure, traced an outline from one of Skip's eggs. And
Mhm.
even the down rail and the nose, like everything, I'm like, dude, this is, he said it, and I was like, yeah, okay. And then I saw his board that he shaped me next to the one that Skip had made like decades ago. And I was like, yeah, he was not kidding. That is literally what they've all been trying to get back to, is like what they were doing,
Yeah.
you know, what
Yeah.
Skip was doing, which is fucking rad.
Yeah. He's just a timeless original shaper that just has this, I don't know, everybody wants to copy that aesthetic and, you know, experience it.
Mm-hmm.
So funny. I love that story of Mikey talking about going to Mr. D's restaurant, like when he was going to be there, and just like listen, okay, where are they going surfing
Yeah,
on?
just following. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Skip's the man, dude. Like, yeah, he's had a pretty solid influence on me. Like my uncle Curtis rides his boards. He rides them in Hawaii. Like he surfs Sunset and Makaha, like as big as Makaha will get.
Mhm.
Because he sends me photos. I just looked at my email folder. He has his own folder in the email account because he just sends me stuff all the time. And he actually sends it to the work email. And sometimes I'm just like, come on, dude. So he has his own folder. And I just looked through there today and there's like something like 350 emails from like the last couple of years.
Oh my God,
Oh, yeah. But like
collection. That's great.
some
Well,
of them
story.
have insane photos of him at the West Bowl, just like charging on his fry. But yeah,
Okay.
I ordered a board. The one and only custom Skip Frye that I have is an 8.6 egg that I had made because I think I was 13, and I ordered it, and I had a blue rail band, totally copying my uncle Curtis's rail bands that he had on his boards. And then I got an egg because I was hanging out and surfing with the ropers all the time. I was surfing with Sam and JoJo all the time, mostly Samantha because we're like almost the same age.
Mhm.
But and they had some fries, but Joe Roper was always riding an egg, like at Wind and Sea, and I was like, oh, I want to surf like Joe. So my only Skip Frye, my only custom one. I have a couple other ones, but My only one true custom fry is one that he made for me when I was like 13 or 14.
Oh, wow.
And it's the shape is Joe Roper and the colorway is Uncle Curtis. And this thing, like if I put it under my arm now and it just feels so good. That thing, like a board that's made for a 13-year-old version of yourself, but still works so perfectly in any conditions here in San Diego. It's like pretty special.
That's
I'm thinking about busting it out on Saturday, but I don't know if I'm gonna do it or not.
there
We'll
you
see.
go. Yeah, yeah. Well, you'll probably end up in there, some long twin fin out there raging on a
I have a
board.
feeling it might be that. I did bust out. I have a 10-7 that Skip gave me a couple years ago. I might bring that. It's a little bit big. Like it's a true glider. But it's a little bit light for how buoyant it is for me for big waves. It's a little bit too buoyant to be just comfortable like going for it. It's more like a small wave glider. It doesn't, it glides, but I'm a little haired out when it gets big. I'm gonna bring it down, but we'll see what the conditions are doing.
Yeah,
If the swell is smaller than they say it'll be, or if it's just so perfect, then I'll ride it. But yeah, if it's bigger and kind of wild and a little more critical, depending on what it's doing, I have a 7-Eleven Josh Hall Fish Simmons that's my go-to when the surf pumps. So it's probably between those two boards.
that
So
sounds
both be down there.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets, big. I was out at Black's the other day and, caught all these waves. And then I'm like, okay, bring on the real taco. I was waiting out there forever. And I, luckily caught the first wave of the set and, rode it, got about, and, I like to, so I get about halfway, jump off and like, oh, there's like the next 9 waves coming. And I was like, you know what, I'm just doing this rotational surfing where I'm just going all the way in and I'm
Yeah.
going back up to the channel. I'm not going to try and paddle through that. But,
Nice. Yeah, that's smart. That's super smart. That's great.
but it's going to be epic on Sunday. I can't.
I'm excited. I'm gonna go surf Swamis tomorrow.
All right. Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds fun. Hey, if there's anything I can do to help set up or support you, during the event, here for the whole festival,
Cool.
get all together. So,
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, if you want to go, I know you talked about broadcasting. If you're gonna do that, sick. Otherwise, like filming, anything you want to do to just be there. I'm actually making the poster today, so I need to finish that and then
oh, cool.
yeah. I love that you had your weather radio out though. I saw that when I logged on.
Oh, yeah, yeah. This is my grandfather's who lived in the Sea condos right by Crystal Pier. And
Okay.
was a World War II submarine commander, did like 7 or 8 war tours on a submarine.
Wow.
Came back.
Gnarly. Yeah, I've got a little weather radio too, but it's not ancient like that. It's just a little one from Radio Shack back in the day.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great signal. I'm grateful for those.
Yeah, it works. It's really good. Sometimes I sit there in bed and drink coffee and listen to it. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, thanks for your time. It's been great to catch up and
Yeah.
let's do it again. We'll have a great event.
Awesome. Stoked. I'll see you on Sunday.
Great. Thanks, Jen.
All right, later.